to live moderate. An average income earner can only spend 5% of his income on all the basic necessities. Others goes to utilities, gas, TV, telephone, taxes, and what they call all these housing loans, what they call mortgage loans. So therefore, their realities is not the same as ours. That we, as we know, we struggle with all the basic necessities. Yet, due to human nature, Babylon have said, even luck and even the Almighty God, there are some certain principles, both physical and spiritual, one has to follow to attain success. Like in this case, I'm talking of financial independence. Still before entering my main point, I would like to cite example with one of the world's top richest men, in person of Warren Buffett. Why would I like to cite example with Warren Buffett? Because to some of us that read about that gentleman, Mr. Warren Buffett is a very principled investor. He's the same person that we know up till today. He is staying in the same house he bought since 1958 as a young person, which has 3 or 4 bedrooms. Mr. Warren Buffett is having only one personal car to himself, while his wife is having her own personal car. While I don't want to go to details about Warren Buffett's life, but in the balance of financial literacy, I admire so many things about him. Whereas we know people like Elon Musk is one of investors that like taking risk. This is somebody that when he moved from his first investment, I could recall to Tesla, the man almost went bankrupt. Yet he believed what he's doing. And the rest is story, as they are saying. That Tesla really jacked his fortune. The same thing as he moved to SpaceX. Now, we are all hearing story for those of us who are conversant to the news. The man keeps on moving from one height to another. In comparison, Warren Buffett doesn't like taking risk. He always follow safer investment options without having to commit much and without losing or experiencing sleepless nights. But as it is, you know, Warren Buffett, there was the time he topped the list. He was the world's richest man. Let me cut my story short. The concept of wealth, we have to know. Let me buttress these points before my other point. Wealth is that part of the income that you do not spend. And we should understand that it is wealth that generally gives us financial security and the confidence. Let me at this juncture cite an example. Mr. A, for example, can purchase a car worth 30 million naira. He can live a flashy life or lifestyle, rather. All you can see is that Mr. A is buying things with money, and you believe that Mr. A is having so much. But you cannot be able to see Mr. A's bank account. And that's where the difference is. Somebody can just buy a manageable car worth 7 million naira, and is having the balance in his account. There's somebody on the same pedestal with him. So the reality of wealth is not in the flashy lifestyle, but rather in what you save, those things that people cannot see, those people that can guarantee you independence, those things that if will guarantee you We all know that we are eventually going to die. If something is to happen to me now, I have so much left for my family. So having said that, permit me to dive into what is meant by wealth creation. Just like I said, wealth is that part of income you didn't spend. Or rather, let me go straight to financial discipline due to issue of time. What is financial discipline that the guest lecturer has been mentioning all along? Even though he didn't mention financial discipline, if I can remember as a point, but he mentioned all those principles that would take the chaplain as individual or as a co towards financial independence, following the path of financial discipline. Financial discipline is about consistently managing money in a responsible, goal-driven, and sustainable way. And this can be achieved through budgeting and planning. Our amiable guest lecturer have already mentioned budgeting and planning. We all know that budget is more popular with the government. Before government spend everything, there must be paper analysis of all the incomes and what we are expecting that the government will spend for that particular period of time. And that is why we always wonder why government borrow is to cover the gap between income and spending. So as individuals, if you can have our budget right, what it will rather do, it will help us match income and expenses. It will serve as a check. We can only spend what we earn, not what we do not earn. It will allow us to prioritize on the essential needs. Just like the guest lecturer mentioned, you have to know the difference between wants and needs. We want to have all sorts of cars, all manners of houses, everything we can lay our hand on, but we know the needs is not that. We need food to survive, we need shelter, we need a roof over our head, and a host of other essential needs. So through budgeting and planning, we can be able to concentrate on those essential needs. Secondly, saving culture, which was emphasized by the guest lecturer. As a principle, no matter the level of economic hardship, inflation, and all the negative economic aspects we are confronting, one should have that discipline of saving between 10 to 20% of his income. The people that theorize that have made tremendous research, but for our own benefit, a little example, as he mentioned, building emergency fund always helps us to fall back to it when we are facing certain pressing needs rather than going to borrow. Gentlemen, given our salary and the limited earning, it is not easy to save, but you have to know that the hard way is the only way. By way of advice, we have to make it as a habit that you save before you even spend. This one, I assure you, will not find it easy, but with time, you will see yourself improving and living, even forgetting that portion of income you set aside. Number 3, spending control. Distinguishing between wants and needs is also what I mean. Avoiding impulse buying and sticking to budget for spending. Gentlemen, spending control is very essential aspect of attaining financial independence. I could remember last month, my wife was telling me of a friend that anytime she's going to supermarket or to any shop with her husband to buy things, the husband will have to sit her down to make lists according to his budget. Pardon me, our wives, we know when it comes to impulse buying, Honestly, our wives are more sensitive to us. Anything that will benefit children, especially, regardless of our budget status, they will rush toward it. So my wife was telling me, this particular husband, anything the wife carries, he will say, check your list. Is it on the list? No. He say, okay, drop it. So spending control is very essential towards attaining financial independence. Number 4, debt management, which is also mentioned by the resource person. Debt management essentially means borrow only when necessary and avoid high interest debt. Gentlemen, in our economic situation, we all know what the interest rate is. The borrowing rate in Nigeria, as I'm speaking today, I think the interest rate as pegged by CBN is around 28.5%, which means banks have that leverage of adding their margin. It can go as much as 30%. But in reality, by the time you combine what is called admin fees and others, you see that the interest you'll be paying is more than 50%. Honestly, bank loan in this our situation is not an option. Before, I don't want to preempt other points, but just like the guest lecturer have mentioned, Chaplain has to look into this reality, maybe to create a cooperative or anything that will help the chaplain officers and men to survive this tough economic condition. Number 5, investment discipline. Gentlemen, just like I earlier mentioned, it is not always easy to sacrifice money for savings. It is actually what you save that you can invest. Honestly, we have to invest. There is no option. And investment is what we can only guarantee flow of income in the long run. And just like the resource person have mentioned, that investment will reduce pressure on the salary, or it will rather create an alternative income that will allow you to meet other needs. That's on the expenses, personal expenses, and what have you. Investment discipline through diversifying, constant saving, and ploughing back returns where possible. Where I mean by ploughing back returns of investment, some of us may be collecting rent or any other things that you may hustle to get. Honestly, investing those things as at now will give you a certain leverage in the future. Though I don't want to say much on the points, at this juncture, permit me to cite an instance with my very humble self. We all recall the global meltdown in 2008. I could remember when I opened my first this account we call share account. When I opened it, I was afraid because of the way share was collapsing on a daily basis. It took me almost 10 years to start purchasing any share. To be sincere with you, if I can remember, around 2018, I could remember the shares I purchased with my little savings then. I have to ask myself, what is this my saving doing in my bank? And believe you me, I save from my salary. With my little savings, I could remember buying Jais, Nestle. That was before MTN mentions. Even Nimet, pharmaceutical, when they mentioned in 2019, I could remember I bought that share at 66 or 67 kobo. But to cite Nimet pharmaceuticals, within 8 to 9 months, I could remember it selling at 2 naira, which we have to dispose almost 90% of it on the advice of my stockbroker to buy other shares. Gentlemen, why am I citing an example with myself? I know what I experienced. Even though I have been a listed investor on that side, I invested for over a period of 3 years. I know what I invested. As at now, despite the amount of returns in terms of dividend I've been collecting every year, I believe my investment reef in more than fourfold. I mentioned this for the benefit of those that want to explore other options. Investing in share, honestly, is not a bad investment. It is a near cash investment. If you have a good stockbroker, and nowadays, no stockbroker can manipulate you. Immediately, I mentioned that financial literacy, the guest lecturer is mentioned, assisted me. I tried to create a lot on my share account. When I failed to do that, I have to talk to my stockbroker. Immediately created, I started receiving a lot. So up till now, I could remember one particular share he sold without recourse to me. I had to ask him of the reason. And gentlemen, the reason was very genuine, that he was expecting that this share is going to fail because of so reason. Have you not seen their report? Sending to me, I agreed. We bought another one that was yield our returns. So, gentlemen, investment discipline is a way to go. We may be facing hardship now. We may believe that we don't have any excess to save, yet we must force ourselves to save in order to hedge and to guarantee our future financial security. Record keeping and record tracking of income and expenses was mentioned by the guest lecturer. And gentlemen, believe you me, those records, they may seem insignificant, but for whoever try it, you may have yourself and your creator to thank, because it is really wisdom. Once you write your income and expenses, many inspirations will come. You will have control. You can be able to predict your future spendings and therefore control it from today. Self-controlled and delayed gratifications also was emphasized by the guest lecturer. What is meant by delayed gratification is avoiding immediate pleasure, as we know, at the expense of future financial security. So observing patience in achieving financial goals, like we are mentioning, you cannot budget and plan, you cannot save, you cannot exact spending control, you cannot manage your debt or exercise investment discipline without patience. So patience in achieving financial goals through self-control and delayed gratifications will help us to a great level. Number 8, please bear with me. Wealth is the money we didn't spend, like I have said. Therefore, continuous learning, staying informed about financial management is also a way to guarantee our financial securities and mental well-being as members of Chaplain service. The guest lecturer has emphasized on this continuous learning. I could recall tasking the chaplain to look into creating forums, inviting lecturers and resource persons to say much about financial literacy, which I believe would expose all those chaplain officers and men on how to save and invest better. My point number 9 is on financial integrity. Financial integrity means avoid cutting corners, avoiding financial misconduct. As a pastor, as a man of God, ministering God's call, we are not expected to engage in all corner-cutting business. Just like the guest lecturers mentioned, some religious people that were caught engaging in financial misconduct. So it will be very wise as a member of chaplain service, officers and men, you uphold transparency and accountability while engaging in any financial transactions between you and the church members and other fellow human beings. Remember, there are all eyes on you. My point number 10 is about risk management. Gentlemen, I don't want to mention anything about Ponzi scheme and MMM. because I could recall even the moderator have said much about it. But risk management is one aspect. You could remember I mentioned Warren Buffett. Risky, even those legal investments, honestly, one has to know that there are many other investments that guarantee returns without having to face much risk, i.e., treasury bills. If you have a stockbroker, and gentlemen, it takes nothing to open a share account. If you have a stockbroker, you can consult him about all these less risky investment. Because whenever government issue any bond, issue any treasury bills, those people will notify you. If you are interested, they will send you the form. All you have to do is to send the money you collect. Some can guarantee you as much as 18% to 20%. So risk management is one aspect of financial discipline. But that don't mean, no means getting entrapped as to what people call paralysis by analysis. We have to move, we have to make a decision. Diversifying income source, smart consumptions, forming cooperatives, which will aid in reducing waste, community networking in form of cooperative, will all aid chaplain officers and men in maintaining financial discipline. And these are my last points. Sorry, I rush. I can see the moderator is already signaling time. All this will help in guaranteeing financial independence for chaplain officers and men. Let me make this final call to us that you cannot give what you don't have. As members of chaplain service, we are supposed to live by examples. We are supposed to endure hardship while relying on God to make move, to save, to have the experience of what it takes to create wealth so that we can have mouth, we can have that confidence to preach it to others. I will make my final call to the chaplain to consider establishing cooperatives and other self-help schemes that can assist the members in providing small-scale loans for business, for personal finances, that will see the members not being exposed to high-interest loans and other risky behaviors and characters in terms of financial management. I'm sure this will guarantee their financial independence in addition to all the lectures on the financial literacy. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir, for those inspiring thoughts. At this juncture, I want to also give our mommy, Mrs. Onomejoy Adeoye, this time to please share our thoughts on the topic discussed earlier. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are hearing me. Let me thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to join this great assembly this morning. When I got the letter that I was going to come and speak as a discussant, I was wondering what I'm going to be telling my pastors, because I grew up to know that my pastors know everything. I was raised by a woman. Anytime we have a problem in the house, my mother will say, "Don't worry, let us go and see pastor. Pastor will tell us what to do." And coincidentally, and I also took my time to do a few research on the topic. I must say that, Director, this is a very good paper. And I know that the Army expends a lot of resources on education and training of its personnel. I will plead that this paper should not just end here. The training school or whatever should please distill it and make it a document that every member of this chaplaincy will have an opportunity to study or read it. You can read it and do nothing about it. You can read it and you do something with it. I believe that the latter is better for every one of us. A couple of the things I wanted to talk about have been handled by the paper and the last discussion. But I just want to say a few things for want of time. You know, that paper had one, I want to start with the aim of what the guest lecturer said. I need to read what that aim was. The aim of this paper is to critically examine the relationship between personal finance and ministerial integrity among chaplains in the Nigerian Army, with a view to recommending measures for strengthening financial stability and preserving credibility. So, the aim is to make sure that at the end of the day, when we leave here, the chaplains that are here today will have a view and measures to strengthen their financial stability and preserving credibility. Credibility as a pastor is not negotiable, because you are talking to people who are also very well read, they are specialists in their own area. Yes, you are a military man, but you have another cap. You are also a spiritual father. So, of course, we know that discipline is the watchword of the military. And then you are not here again to combine it with the work of God. So, your credibility is not negotiable. Anything you are coming out to say to us every Sunday, you must act it, you must live it, and you must be seen to be credible. Anything short of that, you are losing your followership. And of course, that is not what a pastor, any time in his career, should want to do. So I want to really thank the guest speaker for the level of research he went into to bring this paper. My dear people here, take time to study this document. Yes, it has taken about 1 hour to present it, but go home and read, and you'll see a lot of things. Quickly, let me take a few comments from the paper before I make my own recommendation. Under the challenges, I just want to pick on high social and spiritual expectations. Your followership, your congregation are expecting a lot from you. In fact, we see you as next to God. We don't recognize the fact that you were first of all a human being before you joined the military and before you decided to go to the chaplaincy. All those ones are your own. For us, we believe you have answers to all our problems. So our spiritual expectation from you is very, very high. Number one, whether we like it or not, we are living in a society where everybody has his or her own challenge. Every one of us sitting here has different level of challenges and expectations. So what are we supposed to do? As military men and then as spiritual men, we must be able to balance that social and spiritual expectations. Limited financial literacy, of course, is a very big challenge. I'm happy that the chaplaincy is trying to get this kind of gathering to help us know what we should do. Because we are church leaders. All our skills and expectations are trying to teach the word of God to the people. So if we talk about Bible, the scriptures, what is expected of us, of course, we always 400%. But again, you also have to be responsible to the environment in which you are in. And that has to do with your financial literacy. I want to plead that as much as possible, the chaplaincy should continue to a welfare fund, and every time he used to encourages us to please put money there, so that a few individuals in the congregation are not overburdened. So if you have any problem, you say to the person, please, there is a welfare fund. If you have a good case, go there. Don't go to your vicar. Go to the chairman of the welfare committee. Make your case, and then you have a need that will they will be able to address it. So I agree that that kind of welfare arrangement should be institutionalized in all the churches, so people can go there and take the pressure off the chaplains, because these chaplains, they are fathers, they are husbands, they are sons, and all of these titles have financial obligations and responsibilities. And it's this same salary that the other military officer across the road is making, that person is also earning. Let me just share a joke. Now, in my village, there was this major general, and then there's a major across the road. The major general, of course, was in a regular posting and was living within his village. The major, I think he was in charge of a task force. So during Christmas, you will see cars, visitors, everybody going to the major's house to go and greet him so that they can help him do things. Major General, nobody comes to Major General's house. Then the mother came out one day and said, my son, I want to pray for you. I want to pray that they will promote you to the major. Because as far as Mama is concerned, the major is richer than the Major General. And the son said, oh, why are you forcing me? This is my boy. Mama said, no, this cannot be your boy. And people don't know your address. And they know your boy's address. So that is the way the priests are looked out in context. If you leave them and they run the same salary scheme with other people, and their challenges are multifaceted, they will be in trouble. And because they are human beings, first of all, they must find a way to solve those financial problems. And at the end of the day, the government provides accommodation for you. Don't forget. One day they will transfer you and move you to another place. And possibly you establish your wife and children in education. What will you do? You have to look for an accommodation for them. Then accommodation becomes a very important need for you. You also have to look at things like you have to pay the rent for that accommodation. Your transportation, your children's school fees. These are basic needs that whether you are a priest or not, you must provide. So then what are your wants? Lifestyle. Okay, your friend is doing something. I should give 100,000. This is a want. With or without that actually, you will still live. But if you don't feed your family, you will not be happy with yourself. So this wants, trying to be at the top of the range of the DSP, trying to make sure that we are on Netflix, all of these things cost money. Trying to buy the best outfit around to make sure that your wife is happy with. These are wants. Whether you do them or not, it is not compulsory. And then the last thing you have to communicate about is what do you do to begin to put some money aside for that rainy day. Your savings and investment is the very critical aspect of financial freedom. And if you are not intentional about it, you will never be able to achieve it. Money, like I said, in Nigeria is trying to move money, is putting water in your hand. It's too safe if you don't plan for it. And I always share with people, anytime I go to speak of financial freedom, I say to them, whether you like it or not, the need will take from the money, the want must take from the money, and then the last but not the least, you have to have savings and investment, which the other speakers have talked about. So I advise, even if you are the lowest earning person around, if you work with some formula, at the end of the day, you see yourself being free. Number one, the rule from you in Nigeria today, if you earn 100,000, by the time you take 50,000 to do whatever you want to do, you take 50,000, put 20,000, another 20% for maybe your one social requirement and the rest. The remaining 30,000, please learn to put it in the savings. You know, in Nigeria today, whether we like it or not, the pressure comes every day from everywhere. It doesn't matter the level anybody is. Nobody can say that they are contented with what you earn. So, if you're not prepared for that rainy day, and that rain won't come. So there's rainy season and there's dry season. So what the rain comes, you must be able to react to it. My recommendation is learn to live within that 50%. Let me tell you what happens. Once you have a salary increase, what happens? Your taste goes up. Believe me, even me sitting here, when I have a promotion and I have more money, I will say to myself, okay, this extra money, I'm going to live with this salary, let me keep it, I want to save it. But before I wake up, I found myself, maybe I was doing a certain thing at a certain level. Now I will not try and up again because I not see cash. But if you have the discipline of putting that 30% aside, the world is yours. Now, sharing a certain amount of money. 9 months down the line, he has made money. He can take that money out with gain and use the balance to buy other shares. So you must try and have some investments in the capital market, no matter how little. And then by the time you are 45, you must play in the real estate market. You must have the property before you live. I know the army has a lot of schemes, post-military, whatever. Please, my people, get involved in those things. So that when you retire, you will not be crying over where you are going to move your property to after 60. Because the children and the wife are looking up to you. So, I will counsel 0 to 30 years, try and be putting money aside. Even if it's $100 you are putting every day, that will give you confidence. So when trouble comes, you will know that you have somewhere to go to. At least you have 50,000 in your savings account. You use that to start whatever the challenges are. Medical problems, health problems, debt. These are things that we do not plan for, but they come. And because for you as a priest, you are a big man. Everything is looking at you with different eyes. So they expect you to deliver. I don't know if I'm communicating. Please, my people, think through this process and let's see how we can use it to help ourselves. Again, I want to talk a little bit of you that is earning the money. Please pay yourself first. After you have done that tithe, then after you pay God, that is your tithe. The next thing you should do is pay yourself. So whatever amount you are earning, if you consciously tell yourself that me that is doing all the work, let me take some money and put in my pocket. And the only way you can do it is advise yourself. Look at your expenses, like I said to you, all your spending, look at them like a detective. And ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? How old am I? In another 10, 15 years, I will be getting salary a lot. What am I going to be telling myself and the dependents of what to do? Please let us think about that. Again, as you live your everyday life, struggle to develop yourself. In whatever way you want to live, struggle to make sure you develop yourself. Number 2, as spouses and wives, don't let them sit at home. Please. Don't let them sit at home doing nothing. They say the idle mind is the devil's workshop. I'm sure you all agree to that. When people are not challenged, you don't get the best of it. And these women have various skills that you can help bring out to them. Some good traders, some you can let them to learn something, everything, cloth making, and then you'll be surprised how much support you will get from that aspect of it. When the preacher was speaking, he said, when the priest is trying to help, the people at home are crying that you left us. You are looking at your pastoral role, whatever your biological responsibility. But if that woman has some level of economic independence, she's not likely to bother as how you are working to take care of your pastoral responsibilities. And I say to people, it's not every time that they come to you that you will be able to give. My Lord Bishop was there. There was time he came to preach to us days of charity. He says it's not every request that has come to you that is genuine charity. So we also have to put up our assessment and our thinking that we react to those things. For me as a person, when I have a budget, my budget for charity, every month I put it there. You come to me, I look at it, I consider 2 things: the urgency, your need, your time of frequency. So I didn't want putting the list down. Once I finish my charity for that month, I draw the line because I have to live my life in trying to help people. You know, yes, the Bible says God loves the cheerful giver. But I'm not big cheerful. I don't want to give when I will say, this man won't give me, every day, give. God doesn't love that kind of thing. You must give freely, and you're happy with giving. So I have that paper. I write it down. Maybe in the next 3, 4 months, your request has not entered my list. My money you have put aside for that period has not come. Maybe 4 months later, you have forgotten that you came to ask me for money. And I will put a clause with that say, don't vex, so I know you called me some time ago that you wanted me to do this for you. And you know the reaction, when you don't give people, they are not really happy. That call, the person will be so cold because they are asking for something and you have not been able to help. But I was saying, then I couldn't afford it, but now I can afford it. Do you still need it? Of course, the answer trying to please people because you know what you earn. Anybody who give what they don't have or more than they have, the person is getting ready for bigger trouble. The speaker did say that you don't give what you don't have. So consciously planning to be able to help people is a key thing for you as a man of God. But you don't go your way to do the things that you cannot afford. Must you give? The answer is the Bible says God loves what? A cheerful giver. But you don't give what you can afford. So the woman in the house, you must do all you can to make sure you raise her so she can give you that support that you need to also play your role. When the biggest problem most families have today is financial crisis. Because maybe the husband is not able to meet their needs, or maybe the woman is demanding too much, and then this brings trouble. But when there is money, everybody is happy. Nobody is going to, they say money is the root of all people, yes, but you also need it to survive. So if you are also trying to keep your wife in the house, that's where the new source is going at. I know that in government, the only thing that the civil servant is allowed to do is farming. I don't know what the army rules are. But you can also develop yourself. You can go continue to train yourself and study because no knowledge is lost. Developing yourself is also helping to empower you to also go to greater heights. The promotions that come, I know it's over years or subject to vacancies where I come from. Again, your skills, as you are improving your skills, you have a better chance of going up. One of the speakers did say that you don't know the poor man, you don't know who's going to be rich man. It's God that determines the increase in the life of anybody. For you yourself, you must intentionally help yourself to say, where I am today, I must improve myself to get a better level. I don't know if I'm communicating, but I'm just saying that please do. Financial planning is determined by a personal, an individual intentionality to do things that will help us give peace and give happiness to all the family. Finally, sorry, the director of this, but I want to appeal to us that this paper, you know, because of the burden and challenges that we, the priests in the military carry, I would really recommend that when we are putting young men and people into this chaplain, into this form, we must find a way to say to them that this thing you are coming to do now is God's work, and it requires a lot of balancing of the world and yourself. So this paper, if we distill it into maybe one page or something with questions and the rest, and you are attaching to that form that the incoming assigned army person is coming to join you with, and the person is able to read it and say, I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to take this challenge, I'm willing to support this, and they know where they are coming into. It's a different thing when you come into the chaplaincy and you now face this, because these challenges are real. Because whether we like it or not, people always come and put pressure on you who is in charge of the Now, let's talk about debt. Please, nobody is saying you should not borrow. But please, don't borrow to create liability. I was reading a book by Warren Buffett sometime. He said, so the so-called assets you say you have, they are not assets. When you go and buy a Tukumbo car that is taking you to a mechanic every day, the accountant says that car is an asset. But it's a liability. Why is it a liability? Because it's taking money from your pocket every day. You are empowering mechanics at your own expense. So, when you borrow because one, there's an urgency for you to spend that money then, and two, you have a source to settle that money you borrow with your alert at the end of the month. If you know that you will not be able to pay that debt, as a man of God and as a chaplain, don't go into that borrowing. As much as possible, borrow for investment. What I mean, borrow for things that can give you back something in return, not things that make you continue to spend more money to maintain that status. You can't say you want to borrow money to go and buy a 50-inch television because you want to make your wife and children happy. And then at the end of the month, you are paying 10% a month I don't know if I'm communicating. Please, I beg us. If we borrow because we're going to use it to improve our law, of course that's good borrowing. It means you are growing your wealth and wealth. But if you borrow because you want to use it to improve your status in society, please, the only thing people remember is what you can do for them at that point in time. The day you don't have, nobody's going to follow you. Nobody's going to knock on your doors. So please, you must make yourself relevant in your everyday life. And your financial discipline is a key to making yourself relevant in the society. I think I will end it at this point because of time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ma, for those teaching points. They are very much relatable to all of us. This time, I will be entertaining questions from the participants, and it will go this way. There'll be 2 questions from the right hand of the hall, and we'll also entertain 2 questions from the left side of the hall. Now to my right part of the hall. Lieutenant Colonel E.D. Clement, sir.
We're just walking out now. The Bishop Emeritus 2000 Anglican Communion. Well, just on a lighter note, I was just telling my friends here that my classmates, who happens to be one of the scholars, just made mention of some of the shares, investments, and I was asking them, I said, what investment do I have? I've invested in Bible, double-breasted castle, and all those things. That is what I have as a chaplain. Double-breasted, single-breasted, just on the light note. One of the mention of something at the cost of where we were discussing. I said, giving is not limited to finances alone. Giving is not limited to finances alone. Sometimes members assume that giving is limited to just finances. But as chaplains, I want to believe we're giving our time, we're giving our energy just to make sure we build a church. And it is an investment as well. And also demands that because we've invested our time, our energy, not just finances, even in thank you, mental resources. The same way Peter wants Jesus. What will do my gain? So sometimes members entrust us with their lives, their spiritual lives, entrust us with their needs. They believe that the chaplain is either the first or the last point of call. Let us run just like your mom gave you that orientation, run to the pastor knows everything. Now they entrust us with their lives, entrust us with their spiritual life, spiritual well-being, but yet they are not confident enough to entrust us with their finances. They believe that the pastor will eat all the work, but yet you have given your life to this same pastor to coordinate service, to do one of the things. But when it comes to finances, you begin to monitor the finances from when the offering is dipped into the offering basket, when they are counting the money, when the money is going to bank, and when the money is being withdrawn. You want to monitor these statements, which is not good, because you have entrusted your life. Why not leave it there? Then the other point is that itself has given back to so much lobbying. Like some of our chaplains who came in the afternoon or in the evening, they didn't know what Saul or Saul who came in the morning. And you see a chaplain who is a lieutenant want to begin to lobby to get, if I those things in the seminary, when you begin to lobby to become a bishop, it's not you are praying for a bishop to die or you want to kill a bishop. That is why you want to become a bishop. You must wait for your time. But that is the angle. But today you see a lieutenant wants to struggle to become a brigade chaplain, even when he has not been able to manage the unit very well. he wants to become, and again, maybe as a result of rank, promotion came in, and the man has been promoted, he must move to the brigade, even when he has not done well as a unit chaplain. He's struggling, which is not good. Now, not just that, today there is this erroneous belief we have that if you are not a director, or you are not a deputy director, and that deputy director, we have deputy director A, deputy director B, then deputy director C, and most likely deputy director C minus. So now, that erroneous belief that if you must build a house and drive a good car, you must become a director. And so that has given birth to so much lobbying, sometimes doing things that are even inimical to the system. I think for me, it's not good enough. Then the other point is, today, how many of us, as either deputy director, because I respect the office of the director, so I will not mention it. How many of us as deputy directors and brigade chaplains even bother to, when you get your quarterly report, how many of us painstakingly go through this report? We just go to the last page because it has to do with finances. We just go to the last page. So those days during Very Reverend Kerikpe of blessed memory, he will ask you, how many were baptized in this quarter? How many were named in this quarter? How many did you visit in this? How many were saved in this quarter? But today, those things have become history. We just go back to the last page, check the last page. Even one of my fathers in the Lord I worked with in 2D, the man was blind, partially blind, but even in his blindness, tell him the amount you realize.
when it comes to presentation, the added value to it. Why that land? Because this is my home. I'm part of this family. And all I want is the best for us. Having said that, let me start from the rear. Colonel Kong, my bishop. You made mention of faith and logic. In the accounting palace, though we believe in faith, but faith has nothing to do with the accounting concept, principles, and procedure. I am not an unbeliever. Are you hearing me? As a matter of fact, my name is Ruben Martins. So to tell you that I was born into the church. But when it comes to issue of money, the problem we have in Nigeria is we forget about the basic and we run after shadows. How many of us were able to listen to that lecture Professor Osibanjo delivered during the birthday of Bishop Mike Okonkwo? Do we have privy to that lecture? If you listen to that lecture, Oga, you will not ask this question. Because we've neglected the basic principles and concept of even the scripture, and we are running after shadows. Our belief these days is by this time tomorrow, I will wake up and be a millionaire. How? By miracle, Abi. The same Bible says, he that does not work should not what? So why are we not striking the balance? As much as we believe in God, where I want your faith to come to play is when you now put in all that is needful first, then bring faith to bear, praying and believing God that it will work out. Don't go and sit down at home and expect miracle to happen. You will be poorer and poorer. Let me talk about investment. You even quoted Matthew 6. I help you by adding 33 because you didn't give us the verse. I know the portion too. 34, ba? Good. So 33, start reading from 33. You get it clearer. Are you hearing me? We know the lilies of the field. We know the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap. Abi, our Heavenly Father is the one that provides for them. But that does not mean you should go in, lock your door, and sleep. So all you need to do, like our mommy said, what is it that your hand can do? Do it. What you rich gentlemen is you should have streams of inflow. If the army authority should review our salary today, a second lieutenant to be 2 million, you will not be rich. But by the time you have streams of inflow, if from this one you have weekly inflow or daily inflow of 10,000, listen to the story mommy said, by forcing somebody to contribute. So if you have streams of inflow from this angle, 10,000 every day, from another angle, 15,000. I was teaching in St. George's and I told him of a particular family that I know. The madam, an officer's wife, went into canoe making business. She didn't like that. Sir, it will surprise you to know that the officer's wife is even a finance officer's wife. But she stooped down so low by going into do canoe business because she discovered she was idle. She started selling canoe. As of that time, the husband bought a gen, bought deep freezer. He runs the gens 12 hours daily, and the canoe was chill at all times. The husband's salary was 23,000 per month. The wife was making 45 to 50,000 every month. Why? Because she was diligently working. Faith works, but it works when you back it up with the basic principles. You made mention of clerical attires. Like I said, I am part of this family. I am part of the Chaplain family. I could remember vividly when Colonel Ogboyemi was the director, Titi. He wrote to Army headquarters. I was in the know about this particular request. And it went far concerning the approval. But where that thing stopped is up till now, I don't know. In fact, it was a welcome idea. Should I tell you the truth? A senior officer even suggested that if we can give intelligent personnel wardrobe allowance, we can give legal services wardrobe allowance, why can't we give chaplain and imam clerical allowance? Now, he wrote a wonderful letter requesting for this to be provided by the Nigerian Army, stating all the dress code, all, including suit, were inclusive. I was privy to it. And the thing went that far. Where it ended is what I don't know. I will advise, let's go back, visit that issue, and keep pursuing. We may have a result to it. Secondly, let me go to Oga David. Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. That money is not called grumbling allowance. let me correct that impression, because you don't know the length at which, though I know the media is moderated, but you don't know the length at which is part of those things that the Army leadership added to us to make sure we are comfortable. And by sheer privilege, I am the commander, Army Personnel Pay Office. Every person that leaves the Army today, apart from military secretary, your letter of retirement. In that same church, they have had an experience of a chaplain being called back to return money. Yes. Come back, return the money you have taken. So sometimes, and that goes in purpose with what Colonel Clement asked. Because he was so honest, so transparent, so sincere. The first thing the church leadership and the elders in the church, which by sheer privilege, I'm one of them, said we must buy a car for the retiring chaplain. I was just seated at my desk. They came to me, say, sir, I said, huh? Go through the list. You can see so far we have about 17 names. Let us have your own contribution. We are buying car for the retired. Somebody added some money. They had, what do you call it, send forth party for him on a Saturday before his program on Sunday that even director came. Now, another church elder said, wait, aside what this man is having, how much remains in what you have? We said, apart from the party we've organized, we still have like about 2 to 3 million naira. He added another 8 million naira and gave the man a cash of 10 million. I don't know if somebody is listening. We're talking about sincerity, integrity, credibility, and transparency. Unfortunately, that is scarce among the chaplains today. Because we have seen where chaplains are doing a lot of things. Like I said, I'm part of it. There was a case of a chaplain that had to even go to military police. Am I right? Yes, now. I don't want to talk now. I'm telling you now. There were cases sometimes they call me, say, sir, you are a financial expert. We don't want to wash our linen outside. How do we go about this? Are you hearing me? Some of the cases are so bad. So what we need to do now, for us to allow the church members to trust us, let's start purging ourselves by regaining our confidence back. Because for now, the church is looking at us. Like somebody said among us, you will take money to the church and bring back a teller, not knowing that it is a fake teller stamped by the bank. The money didn't enter the church account. In such a situation, how will you trust a pastor? A case at hand was somebody that carried money. When they say, where is this money? He said, I went and built a charity, orphanage home for the church. Who sent you to build an orphanage home? I'm not talking of an unbeliever. I'm talking of a chaplain. So who said you to go and build an orphanage home now? Who did you discuss it with? Did you get approval from the director? Did you write in person that director should approve you writing all this? I'm trying to be as practical as possible. Okay. We are coming. Asking for running course. Oga Agbara. You are asking for running course. Because the running cost of the chaplain is lean. It's the smallest. Yes, I agree with you. Now, this very matter we are discussing must be attended to at a strategic level. Are you hearing me? Now, the only way we can handle this is we should have the synopsis of the entire program, and forward it to ASA with prayers. Now, among which, if you could see that I deliberately brought in a request of 5 years salary review, and I was careful. Because if they say who wrote that paper, they say Kadala, I say we know. Because this is constituency. It was a generic one, but my intention is for only chaplain because of the burden. Then a request for funds to be pulled together. Let's have an institutional structure where money, like money shared with us, they have welfare group here. Once there's a problem, the person visits the director or the deputy director or the brigade chaplain or the unit chaplain. The director, the deputy director or the unit chaplain will direct that person to welfare committee. The welfare committee will look into the problem. Once it is genuine, because there's pool of funds, now they should go ahead and approve it. That will lift burdens on chaplain. How can you come and tell somebody that God answers my prayer, and you yourself, you are having so many cases of Ponzi schemes? So many. Among us here, I'm afraid, more especially the young ones, captains and lieutenants. Some of us are playing all this online betting. There's this one, they call it pyramid scheme. Are you hearing me? That one is, they collect money from here, give this one, collect money from here, give that one, collect money from here. As the pyramid is getting narrower, the returns drops. As the returns drops, the fund reduces. As the fund reduces, once it gets to the peak where they could not get inflow again, they abscond. It's called pyramid scheme. So there are so many, and you know, they devise a way of coming to the church to come and lure some of the priests to advertise it even in the church. So please, let's have institutional structure that will lift the burden from the chaplain. Let the chaplain be faced with administrative and spiritual matters. That will help us. Oga Clement, you say we don't trust pastors. a short clip anyway. A particular church pursued pastor out of the church and said, leave our church for us. For some of us that are from equal denomination, I hope we have some equal priests here. Baba, I know you go raise your hand because you are equal and equal. Good. In equal church, pastors do not have dealings with money. And for you to have a wonderful ministry, I'm advising you now as my spiritual fathers, please run away from money. I'll conclude by this. The Lord Bishop, Bishop Johnson Ikwe, when he came to St. George's, I was the people's warden. And he called me, advised me. I said, one advice, stay away from the church politics. No Igbo, no Hausa, no Yoruba. Face your ecclesiastical duties. Run away from church fund. Every other thing shall be added unto you. 2 weeks later, this was coming, it's our turn. We are now the this one. He said, no. He came to the altar and said, listen, if you have prayer and other requests, come and meet me. But coming to tell me you are from this zone, you are from that, leave me. I am a pastor of everybody in this church. That deterred people. I think it's one of the places he ever enjoyed because the church members took very good care of him. So as pastors, let us face our duties. The church will take care of us, including the money you think they don't want you to have. Thank you very much. Sorry, let us quickly answer these questions. Then we'll ask the high table for contribution. Then the director will round up.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I have 3 questions here, and they are very straightforward questions. The first one is, how can I get a stock broker? Okay, the stockbroking firms are managed by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We call them the exchange now, NGX. Okay, so if you Google NGX, you will see the list of all the approved stock exchanges, all the companies that are approved by the stock exchange. And then their addresses are there and contact phone numbers are there. The beauty of it that if you go and get that list from the NGX database, if you have any problem, you have the added advantage of being able to report that stockbroker, and they will review your case, and then they will be dealt with if they are found wanting. So I will encourage us, how I can get a stockbroker, why not? And I'm sure in your different churches, you have stockbrokers, qualified stockbrokers who worship there. You can also speak to them for them to give you advice. But the generic place where you can see all the names and addresses of the approved stockbroking firms in Nigeria, if you Google the NGX, you will see them there. That's for the first question. Then number 2, how do I venture into money market businesses? Okay, I don't know whether I was able to break down the 3 forms of market: money, capital, and the real estate market. Now, of course, the money market is all the money that you do with bank. Number 1, your savings account. Once you have a savings account, you're already operating the money. That's why I said money market is from age 0 to age 30. You should be able to operate in that market. Number 2, if you have fixed deposits, you're already in the money market. When you buy treasury bills, you are already in the money market. I don't know if I'm communicating. So that's how to operate in money market. The minute you put money in a savings account, it's already in the money market. And experience has shown that from the time you have matured in the money market, you move to the next market, which is the capital market. Okay, so the capital market, of course, is the one that you have stockbroking firms. You go there and give them your money. They are the experts. They read the market. They can advise you, buy this stock today, sell tomorrow. No, they trade for you to be able to make money in investment in the capital market. I don't know. I hope I'm clear. So when you have made enough money in this money market, your financial expert will advise you to diversify your portfolio so you can have various streams of income. As you are getting interest from your savings account, interest from your fixed deposit, returns from your fixed income investments like treasury bills, you will not take that money and go to capital markets. when the shares that you have invested in, when the companies declare dividends, you get your dividends. Those are other streams of another stream of income. So how do I venture into money market business? I've explained to you. It's just put money there in your savings account. You're already inside the money market. The last question is, what are shares or capital market I can involve in? Of course, the capital market is dealing with the shares of various companies that are quoted in the stock exchange. So what happens is, these are very regulated business. What you are doing is you take your money, you are too busy, you are facing your military or chaplaincy work, but you have some free money, and you go to a stockbroker, please invest in ABCD shares. And the stockbrokers, they have a way of giving you information. Once you have a good stockbroking company working with you, they will be advising you, this one is going to pay dividends in January or February. If you buy now at this price, you'll be able to make some money because they will make profit and the rest. So they have the way of forecasting. Like if you buy an MTN share now, you can go to sleep because every day MTN continues to declare big dividends. I don't know whether I'm communicating. Okay, so your stockbroker will advise you on that. I think those are the 3 questions. So the capital market deals with shares and bonds. So for us, buying shares in the Nigerian capital market is a good way to trade there. I think that basically is so. How you can get involved in it? Please speak to your stockbroker. They will advise you on what to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. The resource persons are very senior officers. I don't want to initially attempt to anything that the resource person have already given answer to. All the questions that were just aptly answered. But I think it is better if I mention something and the chaplain becomes more aware and have more information to approach the answer. On the issue of operating and admin expenses that is low, we know it is actually the economic condition that exposes us to making complaints. I think before everybody seems to be contented, I believe the chaplain, the education were put on the same pedestal. I happened to be at, my last unit was Nigerian Army Budget Department. I know how on a yearly basis we make effort to push for the increase on admin. And I believe the resource person is fully aware that overhead budget refused to get any increase for the last 5 or 6 years. But Army continued to make case. So even the little, some units that were being these things integrated by Army, honestly it's Army that keep on taking care of them from other sources. That does not mean I'm discouraging the chaplain from applying. When you make your case, let me just get you one tip. Department of Army Policy and Plan are the ones that assign this operating and admin cost, not Nigerian Army Finance Co. And what do they do? Being there, allow me to see the standard they use. They only use table of equipment for the unit, as if all units are infantry units. I'm not saying that the authority is wrong, so that you go with the right information. The moment you start mentioning all this regalia cost, admin cost, you know, what it takes you to counsel and other things, I think the authority will listen to you when you argue with logic. So I think these are the little things I want to say. I got other points, but thank God the resource person have been very logical about them. But maybe let me add a little comment. As men of God, you know that God is all-wise, all-knowing. If God Almighty expose the clergyman to a different law altogether, the clergy people will be arrogant. For instance, if I know that I have gone to 10-story building and jump, I will break my bones and die. And the clergyman is given exception. I think the clergyman tend to be arrogant. They will be busy displaying miracle here and there. That's why if they fire bullet, it cannot separate this is a pastor and this is a sinner. So the best thing is, the best armor they say is to stay out of range. That's the best armor. So that's why you see even among the developing countries now, those developing faster, some are unbelievers. Why? Because they key into those scientific laws. So as religious people, honestly, we have to follow those God's principle. Since God created earth, we know water quenches thirst. That's natural. We know if you carry water and pour on fire, it will quench. That's natural. So the law doesn't change. All you have to do is key into those laws and pray. Like my cosmate said, some things you cannot have direct answer. They are rather spiritual. I have that experience. I can carry my last card and give somebody. You just see God do wonder. Through other means, you just get replenishment. So that one is your area. I don't want to say much, even though the resource person have said. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for those contributions. May I now humbly request members of the high table to please give their contribution, if any.
The Deputy Director, please, I don't know, this has not happened before, but we have been sitting down from 9 o'clock, I believe so. Can we please just stand up for 10 seconds and do like this? Everybody, that includes even members of the other side. Okay, oh, no, I think Director. Okay, thank you very much. Please have your seat. I believe that we have been a little refreshed by this simple exercise. And it also goes a long way to teach, to exercise our body. Otherwise, sitting goes a long way to give you backache and other things. And I can see that most of the people sitting here are just like me, growing old and older. May God help us in Jesus' name. Well, today I decided to come back, not as representative of the Jews, but I said today is my cosmate's day, and you know that thing you people used to call Ati. I will be here to give my cosmate Ati. Well, late Abiola said something. He said, I'm a chartered accountant, and accountability is very, very important. Now, the guest lecturer, my cosmate, is also a chartered accountant. Can you give me a round of applause? While his CV was being read, I did not hear any other thing, but all I was hearing is finance, account, money. In fact, I said anytime I'm invited to deliver a lecture anywhere, I'll just go and borrow his CV and present at my CV. And when mommy came in fact, immediately she walked in and sat down by my side. I just, you know, when both permission, the grumbling allowance and the main one enter, you know how the alert is. I had boom. I said, who is this one? I felt I was sitting down next to Dangote. I never knew she was also a money bag. Eventually, mommy, listen, eventually when she was leaving, she carried the bag and went with it to go and sit down there. I said, now, wow, this money go live like that. The next thing, she said that they should go and bring the bullion van to come and join. And they came and I said, I'm finished. But God will help us in Jesus' name. Well, today's topic has been redefined. Chaplain and financial management. That is our role, generally. Yesterday I was here, and you agree with me again that today's lecture also corroborates yesterday's lecture. It's like it is well planned. After today, I believe we have spent more than the hours we spent here on one lecture yesterday. That's to say that this is the tip of the iceberg. And I want to appreciate our mummies in the house, even though I can just see 3 or 4. Today it is balance. Today we have a gender representative, and anywhere we go to, we can say that yes, our mama was here to talk to us. In fact, when she was taking, I was copying notes. I was writing, copying notes. But because of time, I will not be able to say anything. Otherwise, I would have just said, let me start this lecture all over again. But God will help us. Now, personal finance is talking about personal money. This includes time. There was a singer in Nigeria that says time, money. And that is why time is very, very important and is very vital to any survival. So we must invest our time. Investment begins by investing time, not the money alone. If you have not invested your time well, then you are not an investor. And maybe, perhaps, you might be robbing God, because that time that God says you should give to him includes your tithe. The tithe is not the physical money alone. Tithes include your time given to God's service. So if you have 24 hours in a day, it means that you have 2 hours and probably 20 minutes for God in one day. How many of us do have that time for God in a day? Let us be very careful.